Welcome, Capricorn, to your reading. Let's get straight into it, hey? I tell you what, when it comes to your ambitions and what you want to do in life, you could be really hitting some walls. You had a great game plan and you're working really strongly towards it. This is what I expected out of life. This is what I was expecting I was going to be doing. This is how much money I was expecting to get. But the universe has had other plans recently. Could it literally feel like it's taking the feet out from underneath you? You're having to take a step back anyway and figure out what to do about this whole scenario. What am I if I'm not this? What am I going to do with my time if I don't do that? You could be feeling very overwhelmed, wanting time away, or a time where things are a lot, longing for a time that is more quieter. You're finding you're going to have to yield. And yielding is not something that is at all comfortable for yourself. You want to have the power in this situation. You want to have the reins. But the universe has stepped in and said, no, sorry, Capricorn, you're going to have to go this other way now and you're going to have to figure it out, all from probably scratch. Well, if anything, that's raising so many red flags with you, and anger even. Well, they say redirection's God's protection. I don't even think you want to be hearing that at the moment. Give me a break, I hear. But you need to be as gentle with yourself as you would a friend, but sometimes you can be quite blunt with friends, so maybe you're being quite blunt with yourself as well. Okay, you're saying to yourself, snap out of it. We're really going to have to get the reins again. How do I do that? Is working harder, making life harder? I hear that sitting back in time of meditation, pulling your energy back from the scenario, the drama, the outcome, is really going to help. You don't need to be making massive strides at the moment, but it might seem like it's contrary to what you really feel like you need to do. You feel like you're heading backwards. It's not a comfortable place at all for you. So we'll have a look and see if there's any love blocks here affecting you. Make time for romance and laughter. Certainly, if you have the time to do so, that will help. But chasing and demanding and trying to grab at someone for them to understand you, to be with you, to show up the way you want them to show up is not working at all. What's the game plan, I hear? Well, romance is very much on your mind at the moment. And see, this could be a distraction from the rest of your life at the moment, being able to pay the bills, show up in the world. Taking a weekend away is what you'd really feel like doing, and just sort of switching off for a little while and getting caught in the energy of togetherness. And if you don't have that in your life, it's really important to get back to you, to balance your masculine and feminine sides. Take yourself on that date. Love on yourself. As I said, as you would, be gentle with yourself as you would with your friend. Take yourself on that date night if you have to. Even if you can't afford to go out, you can have a small date night at home, which will be really helpful, that's for sure. But you might have to change the target of where you're aiming. No, you don't have to aim lower. And that was what came through was, do I have to aim lower? No. You just have to aim differently. Maybe not expecting everything to happen all at once, or to hit the target precisely to begin with. Sometimes it takes a bit of practice. But there's a certain amount of resistance when it comes to changing the target at all. Having to go down the range and change that target is making you feel like you are wasting your time. And you are not in the mood to waste your time one iota. Aim for something or someone different. And in the past, where you aimed may not have been true. I really feel like it's dedication that needs to be put into practice here. Dedication to yourself first and foremost. You won't find it out there, it's in, I'm hearing you guides say. Turn that attention and focus inwardly. What is it you really want to do? Who is it you really want to be with? What do you want to attract into your life? And realise that you might have to start off at a lower pay grade to do it. But this could literally be you losing a job or losing a way of bringing money into the home, the household, that is really affecting your relationships, but first and foremost affecting your relationships with yourself. You may have to change plans for holidays. You may have to have a holiday at home, I hear, not abroad. And be very gentle with yourself, particularly in the evening. So be very aware of what you're ingesting or how you're feeling before you go to bed. But see, time and solitude could be bringing this up for you so much that you're literally having so much trouble resting during the evening or whenever you get a chance to rest, that you're finding it very hard to be productive in your daily life. This isn't the game plan, I keep on hearing you say. This isn't the way it's supposed to be. What is supposed to be is a projection that we do into the future to say, well, this is how it's going to turn out for me. The ego projects itself forward and says this is what's going to happen. And so when things don't work out that way, the ego can feel quite bruised. But also realise that there is some support here, some loyalty. But you need to be loyal to yourself too. I think you're frightened too to show your vulnerability to things that you are caring for, children, that sort of thing around you. But it's always picked up. Kids aren't silly. They know that something's going on. If you're really struggling here. Lower the expectations. Start a garden, I hear. Things are going to end up quite tight. As in, you may have to change the spending habits that you have. You might have to pull your energy back and have that little, garden on the windowsill. If anything, it'll fill your time with actually having your hands in the soil and making, grow a couple of tomatoes or a couple of lettuces or something like that. I'm hearing the kids will really enjoy it if you have kids, get them involved. But we're all being asked at this time with the changing tide of world affairs, our affairs in our country, our affairs in our home, the situation, that we might all be having to look closer to home to find the answers. Stop watching the news, I hear. Because what goes up must come down too. And having to juggle to pay the bills, to feed yourself and your dependents is very draining, extremely draining. Look at what happened during the Depression, I hear. So how people fed themselves during the Depression, how people survived during the Depression. They all ended up bringing everything back down to the grassroots and the local environment, literally down to street level, where if you had excess of something, you shared it with somebody else. So I really feel like this is actually going to strengthen local relationships compared to the greater society. And when those relationships are strengthened, the society is strengthened as well, because what goes up must come down, and vice versa. So if you're finding yourself on the bottom of the wheel where things have literally been taken out from underneath you, know that with time, patience, and just the circular motion of the way life works, you will end up on top again. And it's a matter of how you think, what you think you manifest. So if you're hyper-focused on lack, you see it everywhere. But if you're hyper-focused on stability and moving yourself out of this situation, that's what you see everywhere. I know in my example, I think something's going to happen in one regard, and it's actually literally the opposite. And so it actually sort of puts me in a more humble place where I realise I have to, see things from a different perspective. Like the greatest challenges in my life have been retrospective, have been where I've actually learnt the most. I was left at a stage where I was left with a half-finished house and everybody in the family sort of went on to do their thing and left me there. And what I ended up having to do was not to be worried about that scenario. Okay, at the time I was extremely worried because I didn't even have a back wall on my house. I was but I just basically decided to learn how to build, and found things, secondhand windows and secondhand building materials and that sort of thing, and just got up one day and started to build my life around me, literally. And at the time, others were seeing me as basically, down and out and destitute. And at the time, I literally felt like I'd been left for dead. But as time goes on, you find that the strength and now the skills that I've now learnt to be able to fix my own house, because I had to build a house around me, are invaluable. So it's a case of also, I suppose, you can be given a fish or you can get taught how to fish. Well, sometimes the universe can throw some real spanners at us. Big spanners at us, spanner in the works, basically, for us to actually go, okay, I'm not going to outsource this. I'm not going to get that tradesperson in. I'm not going to rely on other people, or as a woman, expect a man to come in and build it or fix it for me. I end up having to learn those skills myself. So now I can be in a position where I can teach other women how to use tools if I wish, I can pick up tools and not be frightened of them. Whereas before all this happened, I must say I was terrified of power tools particularly. I still don't like chainsaws. That's okay. The electric chainsaws aren't so scary. But you know what I mean. So yeah, I can use a drill and a planer and a drop saw, and I can tile, and all these things I've had to learn. And it came from not having the money to be able to employ people to do those things for me. And also I was in a position where I just had to change my scenario and fix it. I had to make my life better. There was no one coming to save me. So sometimes we end up in these positions where you come to the realization that there's no one coming to save you. There's no knight in shining armor or whatever it be coming to knock, bang down your door and save you from this scenario. It's up to each of us to decide that if we want to stay like this, and if not, what we need to do to change our world to make it a better one. I learned the hard way a lot of the time when trying to build. I made some pretty big mistakes, but I'll tell you what, YouTube's really good. YouTube University for learning how to gain some basic understanding of skills. As I said, and now people come to me to learn how to you know, fix your tiles if they break, or how to frame out a wall, or how to put a window in, or all those things, how to fix your downpipes. All these things I've had to learn. So yeah, this is a case of the universe of throwing, spanners in the works for us to get back down to what really matters. And I suppose it's a sense of pride too, by you actually being able to achieve these things, whatever these things are that you need to achieve now. You can sit back later and go, well, at least I gave it a go. And that's always a big one too for Capricorn, is giving it a go. Just give it the old try. You don't know until you try. Make sure you're safe, secure, and you're not doing things that are dangerous. But by picking yourself back up and saying, okay, I'm in this scenario, I no longer want it to be this way, and decide now, today, to actually change it, to make your life better. As I said, not expect someone to come in and save the day. There's no Superman. But once you've actually learned how to save your own day, you can be, in my example, a superwoman, So I think that's what we're being, a bit of tough love from the universe at the moment. As I said, don't be watching the news, because I tell you what, there's no good news out there at the moment. It's all death and destruction and mayhem, and it's projecting in our lives. So to pull your energy back to the grassroots, to the neighbourhood, to the local area, and put your energy out and see if there's people that need a hand or assistance, or you can learn, or you can put in a small garden, or you can do the grassroots things to make your life a better life. Instead of going to the gym, walk around the block, save your money. Instead of going to the gym, pick up your weed whacker or whippersnipper and do your own lawn. Yeah. All these sorts of things, not expecting it to all be sort of done for us anymore. We are the master manifestors in our own life. And now's the time to actually make our life better by getting up, showing up, and just getting to doing it. Just doing it. Not expecting the government or wider society to save us, to save ourselves. Teach yourself to fish. Don't expect that fish to be delivered to you. Watch out for online shopping, I hear, and delivery services. Yeah. It's easy to flick and tick, tick, tick. A lot of the times I'll do that. I'll get a online shopping thing up, and I'll be just madly deciding, putting all these things in my cart. And then at the end, I look at it, how much it added up to, how many things are in the cart, and then I ask myself the big questions. Do you really, truly, absolutely have to have these things right now? Is it important and imperative, life-saving? Do you need these things right now? And if the answer is no, I press delete the cart and hop off the site. Don't even buy. And I tell you what, after doing that for a few times, you start to really realize just the impulse buying. Another example, I'm pulling right into myself at the moment, but another example is not shopping at the big supermarkets, but taking myself up to the local farmers market. A lot of the time people think, oh my God, that's so much more expensive than just going to the supermarket. Yes, per item can be a lot more expensive, but because I am going there and there isn't the massive choice, there isn't the shopping cart, the online shopping cart for the home delivery where I just go tick, 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 tick. I'll go there and purchase a loaf of bread, which yes, possibly costs twice as much, but I'm not spending all that extra money and all the things I see on the end of the aisle, you know, the grab things. And I come home with a much better quality loaf of bread that I thoroughly enjoy from start to finish, you know, crusty, a good crust and a sourdough bread, you know, if you're into bread, that is. Absolutely amazing from start to finish, and use every part of it, even the crumbs, to crumb other things, and, you know, sort of feed myself for a good week on one loaf of bread plus a really good cheese, instead of going to the supermarket and buying crisps, chips, whatever we call them, chips, or heaps of lollies or candy, whatever you call it, or other things that you find there. My life is better. The local environment is better. The people in the farmers in the local area are better off. Everybody wins, in my opinion. It's not plastic food, it's real food. So that's going to be a big importance too. How can you support and show up for your local community? How can we all support each other through this massive time of change? How can we be there for each other? Times are a-changing, and they're changing rapidly. How do we maintain our dignity and humanness in this time of AI and support each other through this? Because layoffs are only going to get more with AI taking over everything. Everything is going to be harder, more expensive. Big Brother is running the show. Everything's followed, tracked, and all the rest of it. So how can you show up with cash and local? It's my opinion. Interesting. All right, let's see if there's any more guidance here. Look after each other. End the cycle. End the cycle. End the cycle of constant, this is what we need to do, this is what we need to, you know, how we need to show up. And we've all got to a stage where we've all just had enough. Exhausted. We're done. How many times can my plans be knocked back, changed, all the rest of it? And you can see this lady here looking to the skies for possibly, it looks like Star Trek with a big, you know, cross on it, like something from the heavens is going to drop down and save us. Well, is it? Or is that just a figment of our imagination? By her deciding to forget all these constant rumination thoughts that she's been having here, and deciding to actually realize it's the dawn of a brand new day and all these thoughts can stay in the past. Is that good enough to save her? It's food for thought. All right, let's see if there's any more advice for you, Capricorn. Thank you. I appreciate others for who they are. I accept that I cannot learn from I accept that I cannot learn other people's lessons for them. They must do the work themselves, and they will do it when they are ready. Absolutely. I no longer judge or criticize myself. I am free to love who I am. I forgive myself for any wrongdoing. I allow myself to accept prosperity, and that's a massive one. What's your operating system when it comes to prosperity? What do you expect to earn? What do you expect to happen in your world? Particularly with multi-generational poverty, it can just be into your DNA, into your operating system, that you will never have money. Raised by people that never had money, and their parents never had money. So money is simply energy and an exchange of services. How much I have depends on what I believe I deserve. But see, this is also like dollars and cents. But if you have something you can grow and exchange with somebody, you are wealthy. An apple tree in the yard, you know, orange tree in the yard, whatever it is. I choose a bright future now. The moment I start to change, the moment I am willing to bring good into my life, the universe responds in kind. Absolutely. So now's the time to change the way that you operate completely. And by each of us changing the way we operate and what we expect from the greater society here at large, the more us as a human race will change. Less getting stuff from overseas, Japanese possibly, but Chinese imports, and looking closer to home. In Australia, and I'm sure it's around the world, there's starting to be a resurgence of Australian-made. Back in the day, there was a big thing about having Australian-made goods. Now that's returning. So wherever you are in the world, now's the time to look for local grassroots things, local businesses to support, to look after each other. Start up your own little cottage industry and support other cottage industries. Anyway, I'll see if there's any more advice here for you, Capricorn. Fascinating. Mark each day's end with gratitude, absolutely. Today I woke up. I breathed in beautiful air. I had clean water, a roof over my head, comfortable clothing on my back. And if you don't, be thankful for just waking up, being alive. Be thankful for the day, for the lessons, for the memories. Be thankful each and every day, because with gratitude and sending that into your periphery, into your world, you start to attract more and more things to be grateful for. To be alive is a miracle. Let's all be grateful and look after each other, hey? I really hope that helped, beautiful Capricorn. I love you all. You've got this. It's okay. And bye for now.